My name is Liljestrand. I'm 41 years old. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. I've been a Christian for about 10 years. I grew up in a Christian home. From the time I was a small child, I remember singing Bible songs, reading Bible stories. It was really a vibrant part of my life when I was younger. And as I got older, I got saved when I was in 6th grade. I got baptized, went down for an altar call at 14. Again, it's just, I guess I never believed I was really saved. I don't know. But when I hit 15, 16 years old, I discovered a few friends that liked to party. And we would go out and drinking on the weekends and hanging out. And I found that more enticing than going to church. And I don't know if my Christianity wasn't real at that age or what, but I went down a path of rebellion that took me to places that no one should ever have to go. I got into drugs. I ended up in jail when I was 30 years old. I didn't have any abandonment issues. My parents weren't divorced. I had pretty much everything I wanted. I was an only child. I didn't have any brothers and sisters, but I just liked to party, man. And I didn't think I was a bad person. So when I ended up in jail, I was shocked. I was scared. I can't believe that my life had been torn apart like it had. I couldn't believe I ended up where I did. That it could happen to me, and it could happen to anybody. You think you know everything. You think you're on top of the world, and you realize you're not. You're just living in sin, and you're making wrong choices, and nothing's going to come of that. Nothing good at all. I mean, the things that I did, I could tell stories that would curl your hair, man. The things that I saw, the things that I experienced, but you're not going to scare somebody into heaven. It's the Holy Spirit that's going to draw someone, and that's what it took for me. I mean, he scared the hell out of me, literally, and that's a good thing. And it was in an 8x10 cell that I got on my knees and I cried out to God. I said, God, I know you're real. You've got to help me change. And I remember that night I had a dream that I know it was from the Lord, because the kind of dreams where you wake up and it's so intense. And it was about me not being able to help the children because of my sin. And I just had tears pouring out of my eyes. And I was so sad. But I knew that I'd been saved, and I knew that it was real. And when I got out of jail, I had a really good period of time where I was walking with the Lord. I was involved with the church. But when I finished reading the Bible, I put it up on the shelf and I said, okay, I've read it, now I'm good. And it wasn't a month later that I was back in a bar drinking again. And it was strange, because I felt like God's hands of protection were over me still. But as I continued to walk away from Him, it's like He took His hands away a little bit, and He nudged me a little bit. Hey, you asked for my help. And He bumped me a little bit harder. Hey, you asked for my help. And finally, it's like He slapped me in the back of the head. Hey! You know, and that's when He took His hands of protection away, and I felt the full force of the enemy coming against me. And I went running back to Him. In one of my darkest times, I was out at a campfire at the lake. It was 6 a.m. I'd been up all night, and I distinctly heard the Holy Spirit whisper in my ear, saying, He said to me, if you don't get out of this town, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And my heart started pounding. I started sweating. It scared me. The voice that I heard was my father, who'd been dead for 5 years. That's what it sounded like to me. And I took that seriously. I knew that I needed to get out of Wichita. Being around the old people. I mean, everybody has bad days. And when you have a bad day and you get lonely, or you're frustrated, and it doesn't seem like heaven's hearing your prayers, the easiest thing to do is to go out and get a beer, or to go out and hang out with some friends that you used to be with. And that leads you right back down the road that you were on. There's no good to come from that at all. So sometimes the best thing for you to do is to just get away from where you are and get around some new people. And you know, I was in a lot of drug treatments that they said that, you know, new playmates and new playgrounds, and that's really a big deal. That's really true. The 10 years since I became a Christian have been awesome. I got involved with a youth group back home. There was 300 kids in the high school youth group, and I was one of the adult leaders for the youth group. I'm still friends with some of those kids today. In fact, I was just home at Christmas this year, talking to one of those kids, and he said, "Oh, hey, I heard you were a missionary. I remember you from the youth group. do you think I could get involved with them? And so I gave him a book and a promo video, hoping that he could maybe come down and do a school here, which is really cool. I mean, some of these kids are now married, they have kids of their own, but we still keep in touch. That's really neat. I know that without Jesus in my life, I would be lost. I would be in prison, I would be dead. There's no way that I could walk through this life without him. And the transforming power of God has been incredible in my life. I went from losing everything that I had to coming to YWAM 7 years ago, meeting a beautiful Korean girl. I now have a 1-year-old boy and another baby on the way. Things have just turned around so incredibly, and it's all the blessing of God that's been on my life. I couldn't imagine what it would be like, and I don't want to imagine what it would be like without him.